We will need to ensure that Canada can succeed in a drastically different world. The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperations, is over.
Okay, it's official. Mark Carney's lost it. This guy is a lunatic. Ladies and gents, welcome back. Now, I'll be the first to say it. It doesn't matter where you go on the political aisles when it comes to the story of the Trump tariffs. I think everybody's wrong in this case, but we'll get into that. Where are we starting? We're starting with Mark Carney. Mark Carney is going to be having a call with the President of the United States today. So later today, we'll be finding out what was said in that call, but it is not looking good when it comes to the rhetoric on the campaign trail. And that's right, it is a campaign trail, and we have to understand that Mark Carney does not have the powers of the Prime Minister at his disposal right now because we're in an election. He doesn't have the power to negotiate a new trade deal, any of this stuff. That'll have to come after the election is over. But of course, on a diplomatic side of things, he could call up Donald Trump and he can talk to him about where he thinks things might go. But we don't know because the election is not yet over. Now, the rhetoric is terrible, though. The rhetoric is much the same, and it has continued, and it's really ramping up.
And our response to these latest tariffs is to fight, is to protect, and to build. We will fight the U.S. tariffs with retaliatory trade actions of our own that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impacts here in Canada. Let's be clear. We're all on the same page. We won't back down. We will respond forcefully. Nothing is off the table to defend our workers and our country.
Except maybe negotiating, getting rid of the tariffs, perhaps by, bringing on some more border security, perhaps building up the military. This is what's being asked. Now, if you're looking at the polling, which there's an advertisement on it now, if you're looking at the polling on 338 Canada, you would think, well, holy cow, this is going to Mark Carney. That would be the thing. Now, we can look at this as a bit of a foreshadow for what's coming later, that blue section in the middle there. But if you look on the ground, here's what happened just yesterday in Surrey. The rally for Pierre Poilievre was massive. Now we're talking lineup out the door. There was 5,500 people at this event. They ended up having to rebook a venue because too many people were booked to show up. It was absolutely packed. Even though they've changed venues, they still had to turn people away. This is the kind of thing that's happening on Pierre Poilievre's camp. Now, what is Pierre Poilievre saying instead of Mark Carney? Because this is important. Because why listen to Mark Carney if he doesn't have the power to negotiate and he may not be the Prime Minister moving forward? Well, this is what Pierre Poilievre had to say at the rally. Yes, at another one of his rallies just the other day.
But I have a further message for President Trump. If you decide to go down this road, this is what's going to happen. Yes, you'll do damage to us in the short term, but we will fight back and we will build back. Within 4 years of a new, strong, conservative government, Canada will be completely rebuilt. We will rebuild our economy. We will not be reliant on the U.S. anymore, and the Americans will have lost the greatest trading partner and friend they ever had. A conservative government will build pipelines and LNG plants, aggressively promote mines and other resource infrastructure that has been blocked for the last 10 years. We'll have new overseas trading partners. We will knock down inter-provincial barriers so that we can trade with ourselves. We will send our goods to our friends on other sides of the oceans of the world. We will cut taxes and speed up permits so that we can sell our oil, gas, mining, lumber, agriculture, fisheries, manufacturing, small businesses and large businesses alike. The world needs our resources and our expertise. If you, Mr. Trump, don't want them, the rest of the world does. Under a new conservative government, we will put Canada first for a change. We will be a nation that is strong, self-reliant, standing on its own 2 feet so that we can stand up for ourselves and stand up to the Americans.
So it sounds all good having all those things happen, but the reality of the situation is here's Ottawa, and this is the federal government. Here is a big chunk of Canada that is happy with the trade relationship that they're having with this part of America. And to say that these people here will have to and this is Trump's imaginary line here, they would have to take all of their products and ship them all the way over here. And what even Mark Carney is suggesting, that they go all the way over to here, is likely not going to happen. And because of this, we have a lot of people in that region of Canada saying, how about maybe we don't want to be a part of the deal that we're having with Ottawa anymore. Here was Keith Wilson. He came on the show the other day to talk about Alberta independence. And this is why this rhetoric is not good for Canada if Canada wants to stay Canada. This is really a moment in history that could define whether we stay together as a country.
Now, Alberta's gone further than any other province. Many years ago, a number of years ago, the Alberta government brought in referendum legislation that allows the provincial cabinet to decide if it wants to hold a referendum on independence. And in addition to that, the Alberta government has brought in citizens' initiative legislation that allows, if a sufficient number of Albertans petition the government's obligated to hold a referendum. So we have, at every stage, every legal process is all established. It's all there. The car's fueled up. The keys are in the ignition. Albertans just have to get in and drive it. We don't have to build anything new to do to hold a referendum. Now,
and that's the interesting thing, is it could come as soon as October coming up. So depending on what happens in this election and what happens with the rhetoric with Donald Trump and his tariffs on Canada, which Canada has, again, let's just be clear, the tariffs on Canada, the first 25% tariffs that were the rollout, were because of the situation at the border. Now we have another round of tariffs that are coming on April 2nd, which are going to be, they're going to be tariffs that are actually retaliatory tariffs against the tariffs that Canada has on the United States. This is actually global. The United States is doing this unilaterally against all countries that have trade barriers and restrictions on the United States, and this is why they're doing it. Now, Catard, a very popular Twitter handle in the United States, says, "Dear Canada, Trump isn't destroying your economy or your country. 10 years of Justin Trudeau and ludicrous liberal policies did that. That's where we're at." Now, Donald Trump tweeted this out on Truth Social. He said, "If the European Union works with Canada in order to do economic harm to the USA, large-scale tariffs far larger than the currently planned will be placed on both countries, or both, in order to protect the best friend that each of these two countries have ever had." In fact, this is the truth. Trump and his economy could take out Canada. I mean, this is an economic thing that we've never seen anything to this scale. We've never seen anything like this. And I think the rhetoric coming from the politicians on the Canadian side should change. I know they want to sound tough during an election, but this is the reality of the situation. This is Trump's plan, and this guy lays it out. It's actually a good plan.
Whatever you think of Trump, his economic plan makes complete sense. The US has 36 trillion in debt. In 2025, they will spend 6 trillion, but will only collect 4 trillion in revenue. So they need to borrow 2 trillion, and this will increase their debt to 38 trillion. Trump's economic plan is based on 3 levers. Number 1, cut expenses by 1 trillion, which is Doge, Elon Musk. He's targeting waste and fraud, like social security payments for people who are 150 years old. That is just fraud. 2, increasing revenue by 1 to 2 trillion through, number 1, tariffs. They will increase tariffs from 50 billion to 500 billion target. People will say, but other countries will retaliate. They will not be able to do it. The US is the biggest customer on earth. They consume 20 trillion every year. They are the biggest importer. They import 3 trillion every year. Plus, the current tariffs is actually not fair. Why should US cars entering Europe faces 10% tariffs, while the European cars entering the US just pay 2.5%. It's not fair. And because of the tariff changes, it now makes economic sense to build factories and businesses inside the US again. That means more jobs, means tax-paying businesses, and more foreign investment coming in. He will also increase revenue by deregulation. He will remove unnecessary regulations and rules, making it easier to do business, so business can grow faster, generate more tax revenues. He also make this gold card, which is offering lifetime US residency for 5 million. I think at least 1 or 2 million individuals globally can afford it. So if just 10% of them, if just 100,000 people buy this card, that's 1 trillion in incremental revenue. The third lever is he will reduce taxes. If he successfully cut 1 trillion in waste and expenses and add 1 to 2 trillion in revenue, the US will have a surplus. They will have more money than they want. So he will cut taxes. For individuals, anyone gaining more than 150K, he will make them pay 0 taxes. And on corporate taxes, he will go down from the current 21% to 15%, compared to the European average of 22%. France average is 25, I think, and Germany is 30. So at 15% corporate tax, the US will become one of the most business attractive countries on earth. Bottom line, this is exactly how government should be run, efficiently. Because when you eliminate waste, the money can actually go where it is actually needed, to the elderly, to the sick, to people who cannot work. And that is the real purpose of government, to protect the weak. Very few countries have the political will to do it. It takes leaders with backbone, charisma, and clarity of vision. Do you have leaders in your country pushing for real reform, or are they talking about non-relevant side topics? And let me know if you think Trump's plan is bad. Let me know why, because I think it is just common sense.
I'd love to hear your take on in the comments down below, but this is the reality of the situation. Now, here's George on X saying steel plants in Canada have begun laying off hundreds of workers due to President Trump's tariffs. Meanwhile, companies are rushing to bring their operations to America to avoid the tariffs. The CEO of Ontario's Algoma Steel, which is in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, which is across from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, says he expects a tidal wave of more layoffs to come. The director of the United Steelworkers of Canada estimates that 100,000 Canadian workers will be affected in the next few months. Now, here's the hard truth. Here's the hard truth about this whole thing. It is our political class in Canada that is selling us out, not Trump. The steel tariffs that Canada has 25% steel tariffs on the United States. Let's not forget that. This is long-standing. It's been there for a long time. Our aluminum tariffs are 45%. This is going to come on on April 2nd. This is going to come. Reciprocal tariffs against Canadian tariffs. Everyone, this is the reality of the situation. Everyone would go right back to work if Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario were to join and become part of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Income taxes would go down for these workers and their cost of living would improve. This is what Donald Trump is bringing to the table. Join us, become part of America, and you won't have to deal with these tariffs. Now, for a lot of workers in Canada, that's an enticing message. This is the reality of the situation. So Terry L on, or is that Terry I on Twitter saying, Trump didn't give Canada 69-cent dollar. Trump didn't give Canada crappy healthcare. Trump didn't give 4 million refugees or let them into Canada. Trump didn't legalize these narcotics that are ravaging Canadian, individuals. Trump didn't double our debt. The Liberals did all of this. Make sure they pay at the polls, but let's make sure that the Conservatives have a decent view of what is a real situation here. We need to become partners with the United States. Again, this is the better option. It's absolutely the better option, because if we don't decide to become partners, we'll become part of the United States. Here's Zachary Tisdale on X saying the main reason behind the annexation of Canada is to do with U.S. national security. Canada has become a hostile Marxist country and a CCP puppet state in the eyes of the Trump administration. It's intolerable and unacceptable. Canada needs to be liberated and join the USA. So what is it going to be? Are we going to become friends with the United States again, or are we going to become part of the United States? I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think. And of course, we'll see you tonight in the live stream at 6:30 Pacific time. That's 9:30 Eastern. Don't forget to tune in. Make sure you hit that notification bell. It'll let you know and give you a reminder when I go live. We'll see you then. Keep on trekking.